me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report for Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. Just 2 weeks left in this month as we get closer to June. I want to thank everyone that was here this morning. Our weekly show with Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook. Talking the locals, talking about the Celtics, 4 games away from potentially facing the Nuggets with the Joker or the Lakers with LeBron and AD. And what better way to get the Laker temperature than with good friend OG of gambling Twitter, the one and only Mr. Pop DiBiase.
Man, it's like pulling teeth getting to get back on the show. I don't know what I did, but, I'm back. You know what I mean? I don't know what I did, but I'm back.
I got to tell you this. I probably got 30 shows a week lined up, and if we get 10 or 12 now out due to internet, due to bad timing, due to landscapers, you name it, it happens. And for you were live at the draft, so we couldn't get you in. And then last week was on me. We had some stuff going on here in the office as we're trying to beautify it for the rest of the summer and get ready for football. So, Pops, how you been?
I've been great. I'm glad to be here, man. Just feeling good, feeling great. Man, feels good. 39 years old a few weeks back. So, we're just keep on things moving, keep on things pushing and things of that nature. But, it's big things going on here in La La Land right now. You had a good little the Chargers were able to get their little wide receiver, Quentin Johnson, even though a lot of people didn't like that pick, but still that's something to add another weapon for old Herbert. And, you had the Rams select Stetson Bennett, who the 32-year-old national title-winning quarterback. That's more of a I would call that more of a what do they call it, Jeff? A internship, a paid internship for before he becomes the head coach of the team. But he has to go get a college degree first. That was awful. Guy's been going to school since 2017, and you didn't find time to get a degree yet. And all that time back being you was a 7-string quarterback. That means that you got plenty of time to get yourself an education, but you just didn't do that. So it is what it is, man. But it kind of tells you what Georgia's really all about at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
It's a football factory. Too busy winning SEC titles and championships. I want to go back to the Chargers for a second. Watching the Final Four game and watching Quentin Johnson. I mean, I think that he had the game for the ages there. He had like 14 catches and 5,000 yards. And watching his gait, watching his style, he reminds me of those Chargers, a Keenan Allen, a Mike Williams, go up and get the ball and then make something happen. The glory days when the NC State quarterback there with 25 kids, Phillip Rivers used to just had the wide receivers. He just throw the jump ball and they would go and get the ball and he would look like the hero. But I think that Quentin Johnson is a nice piece to the Chargers, Pops.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they drafted a guy that fits their style of play, and they did that because they know that they're going to move off of Keenan Allen fairly soon as well, too, because Keenan Allen's kind of done in a sense. A lot of people will probably be like, no, he still got some. Nah, those leg injuries that he's had bothering him over the last 2 seasons are kind of the writings on the wall in a sense to say exactly – are we going to be moving forward with Keenan Allen? So we need to prepare ourselves for the future right now. And so you're not going to get Johnston in the second round. So you got to take him there. And a lot of people have to figure out that they're not draft experts as well as they think that they are, even the draft experts, because they cannot tell the GM exactly what fits their team. It's not about what you need necessarily, Jeff. It's about who fits your team and who fits the scheme of what you want to do. Jamar Gibbs is a great example. He wasn't going to be there at 18. I don't care what anybody says. And people just got frustrated because the Detroit Lions picked him, and the Detroit Lions have a stacked offense. And it's almost like you're cheating when you do that. Same thing went for Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was like destined to be to the Eagles, especially after the situation happened. But I never saw him going anywhere but the Eagles because he already had red flags coming out. So the Eagles are already aware of what type of player they want. They love the Georgia defensive guy. So they're going to go after a Georgia defensive guy. It's that simple. Atlanta went after another what they felt was the best offensive player in the draft. They did it the year before Kyle Pitts because they said he was the best offensive player in the draft. So pretty much you go ahead and get what the need and the fit that you need to put your team forward. A lot of people question the Bengals when they went after and got Jamar Chase. Now Jamar Chase is one of the top 10 receivers in the NFL, if not top 5 receivers in the NFL right now. Joe Burrow went straight to the AFC Championship game twice because of this situation, and one of them resulted in a Super Bowl. So these teams are going to draft what fits their needs at the end of the day, because the meat and potato guys that everybody's always trying to covet in the top 10, the linemen, they can be drafted at any point and still be a Pro Bowler. It doesn't matter. Like literally, those guys get great grades and great moves because they won awards in college. It was not because they were better than the guy that gets picked in the 4th round as a left tackle. It's because they won awards in college and they kind of have the measurables that they feel suits the NFL. But everybody who gets drafted has the measurables that suits the NFL. Because you really can't measure talent. Talent is going to be what it is. You know what I mean? And teams are going to get what fits them most. Yes, then this is why guys get passed up on. You see the tight end from Georgia, everybody's like, he went in the 3rd round because because he did not fit those teams' needs until we got to the 3rd round. And the team needs that he fit were the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You can't put everybody on your team and you don't know who's going to really be able to, coexist on your team as well, too. So you got to have guys that are not going to kill your locker room. It's that simple. You know what I mean? You can't have guys that are going to kill your locker room. And the Rams the Chargers made the pick that has became the popular pick within a lot of these AFC teams trying to go to the next level. Go get the receiver. Go get the running back. Go get a guy that's going to be a day one impact. I can't gamble on this edge rusher who they said is a non-bust player and all that bullshit that they like to say. Because let me give you a great example. Aaron Curry, Seattle Seahawks. They said the guy was going to be a 12-year All-Pro at least 10 times, and he was going to be a future Hall of Famer. Aaron Curry didn't even make it past 5 seasons. And he was injured most of the time as well, too. They gave him a no-bust grade. When you get the no-bust grade, that means that you're going to be decent at least. And he was nowhere near what they advertised. And they do this a lot with defensive players, Jeff, especially the edge rusher. One more before we move on. Golston, Ohio State. There was no reason to drafting that guy in the big top 6, but the way that his college tape jumped out, you thought that he was going to be this spectacular NFL player. And he even had he won't be a bust. He'll be decent, but he'll be serviceable, but he won't be a bust. The guy never even saw the field. Literally, he probably saw the field 4 times in his career, and he got drafted number 6. So they don't know what the hell they're talking about sometimes when they go draft these guys, and sometimes they do. But we have a better NFL now where the guys go draft exactly who fits their team. I'm going to say it one more time. Guys who fit their team, not guys who fit your agenda. It's that simple, Jeff. It's that simple. You know.
To all the people watching and listening, the young guns here, go Google Tony Mandarich, the Incredible Hulk from Michigan State, and you'll know what we're talking about. I'm going to switch gears here. We were going to start a show at 1:00, and then I think we started around 1:45 because, of course, we get caught up and we start talking. I'm just going to throw this out here. 2 cents on Ja and what's going on before we get to the Lakers and the Celtics. Again, with social media today, with the platforms, with everyone having their own, let's just say, opinion. My dad said opinions are like assholes. We all have one. And I'm not saying you can't come on and speak your mind, but as I told you, a deep-hearted story of my growing up, there's a difference between a picture that is painted to you where you think you know what's going on versus actually living in that person's shoes, whether it's Ja, whether it's Delonte West we talked about. There's a million stories out there, and you don't know anything. The social media will try to produce actually what's going on, or they're going to paint the picture. They know shit. Okay, that's all we know is what we saw on Instagram, and then everyone wants to be the judge and jury. I said it very nicely to you, and I'll say it right here to everyone watching and listening. If I was Adam Silver, very simply, I'd pull him back into the office and I'd say, here, Ja, here's a list of things that I would like you to get done. We will readdress this January 1st, 2024. That will give you and your team 4 or 5 months to get everything situated, to be able to, just veto 50 games, 60 games, 80 games, whatever. I want to know what's going on upstairs. And are we on the same page this time before you become a statistic and no longer in the NBA and you're playing overseas in China or wherever? But that's my 2 cents, Pops.
Well, yeah, guys, I just want to go ahead and fill you in. We was talking mad shit to each other and everything about the Ja situation. So, that's why the show took so long. Just kidding. I'm just trying to go viral, y'all, with some famous. You know what I mean? But no, Jeff, you totally on the money about that situation. I'm not going to be long about it. All I'm going to say is reckless behavior. I've been saying this for some time now about Ja Morant. This was well before he even started getting in trouble. I saw it last summer when he was doing a lot of hanging out and a lot of chilling and stuff. And kind of, I know I'm not a parent, but I do understand kids, and I do understand what a good parent is and what a bad parent is. But I kind of knew that Ja was kind of an irresponsible person by the way that he kind of handles his daughter. You know what I mean? Like, he has her in situations with grown people where you're dancing and they got smoking and drinking going on in the background and all this other extra stuff. And she's just a baby. And, you see kids and they have that look like, I'm having a good time, but I'm scared. You know what I mean? And I think that, that alone kind of shows you that his behavior is not getting checked. They just let him do whatever he wants to do. And I think that when you see how his father acts at basketball games, why are you surprised about his behavior out here on the court and the way that they're acting? They feel like they're living a good life that they worked really hard for, but they don't understand that everything isn't love and hip hop, everything isn't a reality show, and everything can go away as quick as it came. So you have to respect your brand. And I feel like Ja is getting a hard lesson in what happens when you disrespect your brand. And people say, how's he disrespecting his brand? He's disrespecting his brand because the NBA sees you as a role model. It doesn't matter if you don't want to be a role model or not. They see you as a role model for the next generation coming into the NBA. So they have to go ahead and make sure that they police their league the right way. If they let everybody just do whatever they wanted in the NBA would not be a great product right now. You would have guys having bailouts of jail and all types of stuff. So people have to understand that these NBA teams and these NBA executives are always watching. They're always watching. Just because Ja had that video out doesn't mean that they weren't trailing him, really tracking his every move and everything that he's doing, because he's a high-end investment for the Memphis Grizzlies. And he's already showed that he can't be trusted by this team. So pretty much it's reckless behavior. And whatever happens to Ja Morant, it is what it is. And I know a lot of people want to defend it and say, well, it wasn't like he was breaking a law. It wasn't like it doesn't matter. He's an NBA player. You don't do that. It's that simple. Or you just don't have the idiot tape the shit. It's that simple, Jeff. It's not hard. You can have a gun, but just don't have it on film. And just be ready for whatever comes with you flashing that gun. Because now we've taken it away from whatever reality that you want to live in. Because if something happens and somebody winds up getting killed, just know it's permanent. It's nothing you can do to fix it. So you have to have a smarter approach. And so if anything, if you're Ja Morant, it's very simple. I'm not going to say if I was one of Ja's advisors, because if I was one of Ja's advisors, that shit would have never happened, Jeff. So, in the first place. But if I was to give you any advice, my little 2 cents, I would say you got to go get a whole brand new team of people that understand how to clean up these type of messes. Probably Chris Brown's PR team. That will work. That will work big time. You know what I mean? Chris Brown's PR team, or possibly Kanye's PR team. But they'll clean it up somehow, some way. Ja be all right. It's just that he's going to have to learn, and he's going to have to learn a really, really tough lesson, man. And it sucks that he did all this after inking that monster contract as well, too. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what really pretty much made him comfortable, is that he signed off on that money, so he thinks that he's untouchable now. It's the oldest scam in the book. You know that, Jeff. You know what I mean? You make some money. Now your wallet's too heavy to wake up in the morning on time. And, then they tell you the boss, and you the this, and you the that. Then you got to understand you don't own a team. Once again, you just a little player. And these billionaires ain't got time to play with you. So if you want to play with their money, you're gonna be playing out. You're gonna be out there playing in the streets all by yourself, and then you can go ahead and be NBA young boy, Lil Uzi Vert, any of them. You know what I mean? And go out there and skip and shoot guns all you want to, but you're not gonna be doing it in the NBA. Not gonna be doing it in the NBA, kid.
You and I have been on social media and Twitter since 13, 14, 15. And you and I play the game East meets West, Larry versus Magic, and that's what we grew up with. We're now looking at the possibility with 4 wins from the Celtics, who opened up minus 600 to win that series, versus Spoelstra and Mr. Buckets himself, Jimmy Butler, and your Los Angeles Lakers, who are coming off a series against the Warriors, which we gave out the Lakers plus 130 pre-flop. The Lakers won the series in game 1. They went into Golden State. They took care of business. They won the first game. They stole home court, and they never relinquished it. Now, the opening number for Denver was minus 150, Lakers plus 130 again. Early money came in on the Lakers. Denver went to 145 and the Lakers to 125. Now I'm seeing Denver 160 and the Lakers plus 140. Tonight, game 1, the true number of 5 with a 222.5, now 6 at the Circa with a 223. And my initial thought process, Pops, is with Joker, Denver lost 4 games at home all year, 37-4. And you have a 7-game series where you are going to have to win a game on the road at some point. Now, the difference between the Warriors series and this series is I don't think you're going to win tonight. I don't. That's just my personal opinion. Now, you put more pressure on game two. Do you steal one in game two? Or do you go back to LA down 0-2 and that pressure is now on you where it's a must win in game three? And we know this. A series doesn't start till a road team win one on your home court. So hats off to getting to the Western Conference Finals. You and I both know in the middle of the year, this wasn't expected. You know, you changed the roster on the fly, AD healthy again, LeBron doing LeBron type things. My gut, just my gut, has in you finding a way to win this in six. I don't want it to go to a seven because I know LeBron and AD can do it, but in a 7 game series, will AD still be healthy? But the stage is yours. Talk about the Warriors series, talk about this upcoming series.
Well, the Warriors series to me was one that, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I thought that nothing would ever top beating Boston in 2010 in the championship, but that did, because you have to understand that the Lakers had to really solidify the fact that the Warriors were never an issue for them. They were never a problem for them. The Lakers did have a bad little point when the Warriors started their little dynasty, but it showed that the Lakers not being good for this stretch in time is the biggest reason why the Warriors were good in the first place, because they can beat everybody and their mama, but they always going to have issues with the Lakers. It's just that simple. Just like the Philadelphia 76ers always are going to have issues with your Boston Celtics, because traditionally we own you. And as a Boston fan, you say that about Philly all the time as well too, right? Is that we own you. It doesn't matter how good you get. We own you. So when I play you in a series and I know I beat you 6 times in a row already, I don't need to come in here and worry about your little championships over the last few years. I got 17 of them sitting on the wall, dog. You're not telling me anything. And you might have the 4 easiest championships of all time. The 3 of them came off of beating LeBron James, who was literally playing 1-on-5, and 2 of them, and then the last one came off the Boston Celtics letting you sneak back into the series, because Boston should have won that series 4-1. Simple. The Warriors were not better than Boston last season. The Boston was just dumb. They just had their mentality got stupid at the wrong time. They started overthinking, and they literally lost because Tatum put too much pressure on himself. And then he forgot who his teammates were. So at the end of the day, I'm not taking anything away from the Warriors, but the Warriors are probably the cheapest dynasty ever. They lived and died by the three-point shot. They were able to get away with the small ball situation for a long time because they knew they perfected it, but they didn't start it. This all started with Steve Nash and the Suns. That's exactly who they copied to be who they are, but they played defense. It's a difference, and they took advantage of an inferior NBA. The NBA is now getting back in order. That's why they got their ass handed to them by the Lakers. Is because the big man has returned. Thank you, Jokic. Thank you, Embiid. I thank those two. You brought the big man back. You made the big man important again. Now everybody doesn't have to sit here settling for threes to stay in the game. It's stupid. It's dumb. You take the open shot. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Watching 4-on-1, Jeff. 4-on-1. And you pull up for a three-pointer. I seen a guy pass up an alley-oop to throw for a three-point shot that was an air ball. And you telling me this is good basketball? No, it is not. It's because you want to cater to Curry, because I don't want to bring the race situation into this, but Curry's the closest thing that you can get to a white guy in the league. A white American in the league. because his complexion is perfect. And that's why Curry gets all the hype in the world. That's why everything works the way it does for Curry, because Curry reminds you of you're comfortable with Curry. You're comfortable with Clay. You know what I mean? So that's why it's been such a phenomenon with them. They're not great players, Jeff. They're good players. They good at shit. Yeah, you make a lot of 3-pointers. Yeah, that's awesome. But people do that because they know that the 3-point shot is the worst possible shot you can take in a game. And if you can make it and keep making it, good for you. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. But they showed that the 3 ball was not their best friend anymore. And once that 3 ball doesn't land, they turn right back into the Warriors that you know, Jeff, that I know. Just another team in the NBA. So the Lakers pretty much had to go ahead and expose the Warriors for who they truly are. You know, you guys were on house money, you were on borrowed time. Now the Lakers are back, and you know that you're not going to be able to keep up with them. It doesn't matter who you throw on your team, because the Lakers can always top that shit. They can't. It's just that simple. The LA market and the San Francisco market are two animals, two different beasts, bro. You don't have to come to LA and get a big contract. You can come to LA, get a regular ass contract, and get 4 movies, and that'll make up for a big ass contract. So, you know, at the end of the day, the Lakers just went ahead and cleaned house. They took care of business in that regard. Now, when you talk about this series, let's get down to this series, because that's last week's news, Jeff. That was last Friday. It's Tuesday now, you know, and we all done had our weekend to go ahead and celebrate the fact that the Warriors beat them and the Warriors got beat. And, you know, everybody celebrated their mom on Sunday. Celtics fans were very happy. I already know. Even though they had to kind of interrupt their dinners to watch the game, and if the NBA got to get that scheduling together, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people seem to be either mad about early starts or mad about late starts. I don't know what it is anymore, Jeff, but that's another topic for another day. I really want to get into that with you today, but we'll save it for some other time. But game 1 tonight is a tough one for the Lakers, but I don't think that I'm not writing them off that they lose the game or anything like that. It's just that there's going to be a lot of Denver love tonight, because the spread is telling you, oh, Denver's going to blow them out. But I don't think that that's the case. I think that it's the pump fake that the lines makers want to do to you, because really this line should be 4.5 to a 4. But we know that what they're doing is they're playing the game like the Lakers have no shot at all. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to actually get in that Denver money late. You know what I'm talking about, Jeff. Get that Denver money late, because the book is telling you, oh, Lakers don't have a chance. It's 6.5 tonight, you know, because if we really thought they had a chance, we would have put them at 2.5. Yeah, they would have put them at 2.5. But then they go off of the grading as well, too. This is what lines makers do. They do go off of grading as well, too. So they graded it to where it's a 6.5 because of exactly what Jeff said. They're 37-4 at home. So that's why you come up with that number. The Lakers had the same number in game 1 of the Memphis series, because Memphis is such a great home team, and the same number in the game 1 against the Warriors, because the Warriors are such a great home team. But the Nuggets are a team that literally made all their bones at home. But one thing about that team is this. You said 4 losses. You know, all 4 of those losses were to teams that are under 500, Jeff. They lost to some bad teams at home too, dog. It wasn't like you lost to the Warriors. It wasn't like you lost to the Grizzlies or anybody. You took care of your business against the better teams, but you lost to bad teams. And I just really feel that with Jamal Murray not being 100% healthy, that's going to be a big factor going into this game, because he has to be the guy that picks up the slack for Jokic. It's a 2-man situation with them two, because you can't rely on Aaron Gordon to get you 30 tonight. You can't rely on MPJ to get you 30 tonight. You know, because those guys are going to be really, really – they're going to be a little gassed tonight because they got to stick LeBron. they're taking turns tonight. You know that, Jeff. So they're not. You can't look at them to be big offensive players, but guys that will be effective tonight. Those are guys that will have. They'll have favorable matchups coming into the game tonight. I think that AD and Jokic will kind of cancel each other out. They're both due for big ass games tonight. But when I look at it, the Lakers' X factor tonight can be Lonnie Walker once again, coming off the bench. And Dennis Schroeder can play a part into this situation as well, too. But this is a tough task for the Lakers tonight. I even told myself this week, I'm prepared for game one to be a loss because Denver has the one key thing that you have to have in a series like this. They have revenge on their mind. They remember how close they could have got to getting to that final because it's not like the Lakers blew them away. The Lakers had to really go out there and sweat this thing out with the Denver Nuggets. And winning that game 4 was huge for the Lakers at the end of the day because the Lakers really should have went 7 with the Nuggets. The Nuggets were playing that good of basketball, but I felt like they kind of got tired because they had to do what they did against both the Jazz and the Clippers. People had to understand this team had to come back from 3-1 in both those series and find themselves into the final against the Lakers. So they didn't even have the same players that they have today. So that's why, they have more majority of the team, but the key players that they have today are much better than those players. When you look at Aaron Gordon there, and then the X factor, KCP. KCP was all over Jamal Murray in the first game, and Monty and all those guys. He was a key factor, and he was a person that really was, a silent contributor for that Laker team throughout the whole process until he was gone off the Lakers. So he has the biggest revenge on his mind because he didn't want to leave. His family's established there. He has a home there. His agent was there because Rich Paul is his agent as well, too. And KCP can always say, I'm the reason you got LeBron because I'm the one that gave him the good report that you guys was a good franchise because they sent KCP in to infiltrate so then they can make sure that they was making the right choice. This whole LeBron thing was a 2-year process. You know that, right? And when they find out everything that really happened, the Lakers might catch a tampering case 10 years later because it was the biggest tampering case that was happening right in front of us. You know what I mean? So, but it's LeBron, so they'll let him get away with it. You know how it goes, Jeff. But KCP might be the most. If I'm KCP, I'm mad because, I'm always a part of LeBron deal. I was untradeable like LeBron. Why are you getting rid of me? I played for you guys on house arrest. And you got the audacity to get rid of me? Me? So, they got that working out for him tonight. But this game, to me, is more of why don't we sit, we watch the game. If I'm talking to the bettors, you sit, you watch the game, you relax, you chill, play the scoreboard. I always like scoreboard in game one so it can give me a good idea of what we're doing here. What's this series gonna be like? Because game ones are the most irrelevant ones, Jeff. I know you said the game one helped the Lakers win the last series and the series before that, but all in all, game one is irrelevant. To the end all of the series, you got to get 4 wins. That's why we call it irrelevant. But it is key because it sets the tone for what we will do moving forward. And I think tonight is going to be a really, really good game. I can't call out who the winner is going to be, but I do think that we're going to go ahead and get the over in this game tonight, Jeff.
And I've sat here all week trying to figure this out. And again, our buddy Mr. Lucky in January, we picked up Denver at 12-1 to win it all. So we're sitting with a nice ticket. Obviously, we should have some Laker money in this series. If they do move on, then we want to at least make sure that we cover the Denver ticket and have a little extra cash and, create that guaranteed profit that we talk about. But this is the series where I think all Laker bettors, as you said, watch the scoreboard. I know you can get plus 140 in the series right now. If you want to put a half a unit on the Lakers, plus the 140 right now in that series, go ahead. But I just deep down, I think Denver wins today, and then the Lakers are going to go to about plus 210, 220, and that's where you want to jump into the Lakers in that series there. Let's switch, go to the Diamond. Give us your temperature report on your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, the Dodgers are coming into form. There's not much to say, but Dodgers doing Dodger things during the regular season. The Dodgers are 10-2 this month, and they've won their last 5 series in a row as well, too, after losing back-to-back series to the Cubs and to the Mets. They've been absolutely tremendous since that point. They had a little bit of a rough end of April, not a rough end of April, but there was a little bit of time there after the first week or so where the Dodgers really had to go through the motions. Actually, were under 500 for a little bit as well, too. So just a game under 500 wasn't anything serious, but still, that's kind of uncommon for the Dodgers in April. So the Dodgers got the memo when they started going down, when, that we're going to have to pick this thing up a little bit. So the bullpen has gotten better. The starting pitcher has gotten better, and that's because Tony Gonsolin has gotten back into the lineup as well, too. And then the Dodgers have figured out who their best hitters truly are and who the best lineups can be as well, too. I really say that Jason Hayward is not probably going to get a lot of love at this point, but he's been a really, really good pickup for the Dodgers moving forward. Your boy JD Martinez has been also a very valuable player as well, too. He's shown that he can do a lot of things with the bat, and he's a very trusty batter as well, too. And then we got the number one home run man in the league in Max Muncy, who absolutely started off dreadful to start the year. I was just like, man, we might have to send Max back out to the farm. And then Max, he just stepped it up big time and pretty much is now the home run leader. And shout out to Pops, because he's always was really high on Max Muncy as well, too, even when Max Muncy was trying to figure out how he was going to stick on the Dodgers as well, too. So, good call by the great unofficial Dodgers scout. You know what I mean? Because it seems like he called out about 12 of the Dodgers really good players that were brought up through the farm. He said that guy will be a guy. So pretty much they're making sure that they're making him look very right. I thought Thor pitched much better yesterday. He's been struggling. I'm thinking that he's possibly going to go to the bullpen if you can get Walker Buehler back this year as well, too. You know what I mean? So you have that option. I would love to see Thor be put into the closer role, Jeff. You know what I mean? I know you got to kind of prepare a whole spring training for that. You really do. But I think with the way that the Dodgers don't have a true closer, when we get to later on in the season, if he's not starting as much as he's been starting, then put him in there as a reliever. You know what I mean? And put him in there as the closer, in my opinion.
Why? I know his start before he left because of a cut. Why was he pulled after 4 and like 62 pitches with a 5-2 lead yesterday?
Probably because Dave Roberts didn't want to affect that cut, and I think because possibly they had were they in a jam or something of that nature? Because I didn't get the game on until about the 6th inning.
I only saw the box score 5-2 and 3 more outs for the win, and they pulled him after 4. And I was just curious, maybe he was on a 60 pitch count, and that's what they were trying to do. He got them 4, and then he just pulled them. I don't even know. Actually, he might have came out for the 5th. Hold on 1 second. Let me see.
Because he did 4 innings yesterday, he struck out 5.
Yeah, but let me go back to the box score and see. No, he came out for a flat 4, 59 pitches, 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 Ks. So maybe he was on a 60 pitch count and he didn't come out for the 5th. So I was kind of curious there on that one. And the fact that Urias is back, the fact that Gonsolin is back, and again, it's just you're catching your stride that you always do with these, 25 and 5 runs, 35 and 5 runs. The Padres, who were supposed to have put together, death row up front, and they can't score. Soto's I think, got almost 40 walks already. Bogart's as cold as ice. They can't, as I talked to our friend Craig last week, I says, I think you need to lengthen that San Diego offense, the lineup. You can't come up there and, have Bogart, Soto, Tatis, and Machado, 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to get a couple guys in between there so you can lengthen the lineup, maybe with a Cronesworth or something to that effect. So maybe Bogart's batting fifth behind Soto. They moved Soto to 4, and he started to get hot there. So the West, the Wild Wild West, of course, is where the Dodgers will remain on top as always. Anything? We talked football. We talked basketball. We talked. Um, we've covered all the bases already here, Pops. What's closing thoughts on the boxing world?
Well, we got the Dream, Mr. Devin Haney. That Devin and me go way back. Jeff was out there that weekend as well too. When we were at AJ Ruiz one, I had a great interview with Devin Haney. I had a great interview with his father. Also, living in Vegas and being back and forth LA and Vegas and things like that, I've been able to be around Devin and his father at plenty of fights and at the gym and things of that nature. And I think that they're some of the most professional and some of the most superb people in the business. They get the business. That's the whole thing. His father really went ahead and is like he's like LeVar in a sense. You know what I mean? I love LeVar. So, I don't care what people have to say about LeVar. That's for all the fatherless children that get mad about LeVar. So pretty much, there was an investment that was made highly for Bill Haney, and his son cashed in on the investment for him. They've been doing this since he was 9 years old. So this is absolutely the way that you build a career. And when you have the income and the funds to do it, this is exactly how you go about doing it. Devin Haney is now an undisputed champion at 24. Guys don't become undisputed champions until they're literally almost 30. That's impossible to become an undisputed champion. I know he kind of got it handed to him in a sense because Lomachenko pretty much did all the work, but he still had the WBC belt. So pretty much, Loma gets beat by T.O. Then we have the pandemic. T.O. has to wait almost a year to fight his next fight against George Kambosos, the placeholder. Then George Kambosos uses Devin Haney as what he sees as a way to get a WBC belt, get another belt to be the unlimited, to be the actual undisputed champion. But his plan backfires because Devin's not an opponent. He wasn't better than Devin Haney ever, and he thought having the fight in Australia was going to be some type of boost. Devin did him a favor. He beat him in Australia twice. Instead of just knocking him out, he humiliated him for 12 rounds. Now we got Lomachenko, the guy that used to be the man, and he was the big seller, and he was the big advertisement on ESPN, and he was supposed to be the face of TR Boxing when they came over there to ESPN and everything like that. Him and Bud, number one pound for pound. And then all of a sudden he had a shoulder injury and everybody fell out of love with him. Then he went to Ukraine and decided to say that he didn't want to be a full-time boxer anymore either. He wanted to be a soldier for his country. So a lot of people kind of wrote him off, things of that nature. But now he's back around after a good scraps with Kami and then beating Jermaine Ortiz as well too. A good, nice, and a good prospect on his way up. But that's a sparring partner as well too. So he kind of knew exactly what he was dealing with in that situation. But him fighting Devin Haney as the challenger is probably one of the biggest obstacles that Devin Haney's ever going to have, because really they're in his favor. If that fight's close, it's going to go to Lomachenko, because they have other plans for Lomachenko, because they know that they can keep those belts. Devin Haney is a guy that is his own boss. He's not in a promotion deal with Top Rank. He's in a partnership with Top Rank. So that means that he promotes his fight. Top Rank broadcast is the fight. It's really what it truly is. It's exactly what Mayweather used to have with show was exactly what Mayweather had with Showtime, but you still have the big brand that's the promoter for the fight, but you're your own promotion, just like Canelo as well too. So he's not strapped to Top Rank. So he could go make a Tank Davis fight right after this with PBC if he wants to. He can make a fight with um, Eddie Hearn at Matchroom for any of their big guys if he wants to. So Devin Haney is really a boxer that really does control his own destiny. And a lot of people don't like that. These promoters want to be able to control your destiny. And I think that Devin Haney is in store for the biggest performance of his career, where I think this might be the biggest one-sided fight he ever had in his life, because he's just so much bigger than Loma. And the motivation that they given this young man with, oh, he can't hit hard, oh, he can't do this, oh, he can't do that. It's like being the kid that has all the clothes, all the girls, the car, the coolest car when you come to the school. And all the broke folks gonna be mad about that. All the people that are miserable gonna be mad about that. Even though you're the nicest guy, let everybody hang out and do whatever they want to do. They still don't want to see you win, because they want you to lose like them, because you do everything so well. So that's why I say Devin Haney has the biggest moment of his career coming up here on the weekend. And I think that he's going to cash that ticket, Jeff, to be honest with you. And when he does, I think that Ring Magazine, ESPN, all you so-called boxing experts need to put him top 5 at least on your pound for pound coming up in your next month's list. If you don't do that, then as the great Roger Mayweather would say, Jeff, you don't know shit about boxing. So it is what it is. Stop playing politics and do the right thing, boxing. Save your sport. Because right now, after the shit that happened last weekend with Rolly, the sport ain't even a novelty no more. It's almost just a joke. It's a joke right now. You know what I mean? You're never going to be a mainstream sport again. But you can get out the novelty range and become a pastime sport like baseball, to where you keep your dignity. You feel what I'm saying? Like horse race. Well, horse racing ain't keeping nothing. Horse racing is fucking on. Horse racing is the old person that's sitting in that room, and it's just like, did they die yet? Nah, they still making it, but they can't move anywhere. They can't walk anywhere. They can't do shit but just lay in that bed all day. They ain't dead yet. What they still doing here?
The one and only Mr. Pop DiBiase. Go follow him on Twitter at Pop DiBiase, at Prime Wave Media, the prime time capper himself, the true OG. Pops, tell him where to find your stuff. Tell him what's on tap today and the rest of the week.
All right, you guys can find me on the Twitter at PopDBS. You guys can also follow all my news and notes when I'm using it, because, man, it's hard to try to handle 2-3 Twitters at once, Jeff. You know what I mean? You guys can follow Prime Wave as well, too, because that's where a lot of my material and everything's at, a lot of retweets and everything. Also, you guys can watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles. Usually we start at noon or 1 o'clock Pacific time. So you guys can go ahead and check me out on my Prime Wave Media YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well, too. And then you guys can watch all my great videos as well. And also put in Pop DiBiase and Fanatics View. That's where you'll see a lot of my ultimate NFL interviews, some of my biggest boxing interviews right there with my partners over at Fanatics View as well, too. And you hit the subscribe button for them as well. And also, you guys can catch all my videos, and you can follow me on IG at DiBiaseWave _. But all in all, it's always a pleasure to do this show with you, Jeff. It's I love to do it. You already know what time it is. Me and Jeff have been doing shows since I was doing my podcast, Capcast, back in the day. With the Jeff used to always be like, where's all the bells and whistles when we went into doing primetime angles and everything like that. Always shouts out to my man Tony Harrison, though. That man believed. So pretty much that's why we here. And that's why, and I just want to just say real quick, the reason why they always say Pop the OG, da-da-da-da-da. It's because when 2015 came around and this wasn't in every single state and it was just in Nevada, I was on one of the only guys with a podcast, all that stuff. So when you're dealing with me, you're dealing with somebody who loves the game. I don't want the attention. I love the game. It's different. You know what I mean? I don't care for all the attention. I don't care for, being the most popular capper and all that dumb shit that these other guys are talking about. I just want to give you guys great winners and talk sports. That's it. So you guys, if you want to join PTSI, hit me up. We got the best deals in town. If you need to do a month, that's cool. If you need to do payment arrangement, that's cool. Just hit me up, become a part of the winner circle. And you know what? I got you for the rest of the year. And with that, Jeff, you got the floor. I'm done. I'll shut the hell up.
Shout out to Connor. Connor, have a great afternoon.
Connor, my man. Shout out to you, Connor. I barely know you, but shout out to Connor. He faithful with us every week. So shout out to you, Connor.
He is. 6 o'clock, Riley Magnuson, the closing bell. I'm not sure if I will be there. I hope to be there. And it's 7 o'clock. Still assuming myself and Scott will be talking some MLB. It's always a pleasure.
You go there by yourself, Jeff. What are you talking about? You want to go watch the game, bro? Cut it out. Cut it out. You're gonna be at the game with your little dog. You're gonna be watching the game with your little dog. Hold him just like this. You know what I mean?
Thanks to everyone watching and listening. Always don't be afraid to tip the dealer. A little retweet, a little like here and there on social media. It's like you tipping the dealer. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, one, the only Mr. Pop DiBiase at Pop DiBiase at Prime Wave Media. We wish everyone a blessed afternoon. Have some fun. Cash a few tickets. Stay in your lanes. And we will be seeing you soon. And as Connor closes, yes, sir, learning a ton. Can't be missing it. So thank you again, Connor. We'll see everyone in a couple hours. Toodles.
Toodles.